Remember those college lectures? You know the ones where you're fighting to stay awake? The professor's voice is fading into the background noise, and you're pretty sure those 5 minutes of note-taking are the only thing keeping you from face-planting onto your textbook.
I think we've all been there. It's amazing how quickly a lecture can go from, oh, this is interesting, to, did anyone else just lose track of what year it is?
Right. Makes you wonder what if there's a better way.
Yeah.
And get this, you send over some research about using AI to make learning more engaging, more effective, maybe even, dare I say it, enjoyable.
It's a fascinating paper out of the University of Pamplona, Colombia, Intelligent Computational Architecture for Improving the Quality of Higher Education. And yes, it's suggesting we might be on the verge of a pretty radical shift in how we approach higher education.
Okay, let's dive in. The first thing that caught my eye was this idea of an AI professor's assistant. But we're not talking about some glorified Scantron grading robot here, are we?
Not even close. This is about using AI to actually design personalized learning experiences. Think of it like this. Imagine an AI that could generate a research project tailored specifically to your interests and skills using the very latest information available.
So no more rehashing the same old research papers from 1982, because honestly, I think I've analyzed the impact of the cotton gin enough times to last a lifetime.
I hear you. And that's where this concept of retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, comes in. The AI essentially has a direct line to the freshest knowledge out there. It's like having a research librarian on speed dial who can pull up any paper from any journal at a moment's notice.
Okay, now that is cool. But let's be real for a second. Even with the most fascinating project, I still have flashbacks to those dreaded group projects. You know, the ones where you end up doing all the work while your partner's idea of contributing is writing their name at the top of the paper?
Ah, the classic group project dilemma. But even for that, this paper has a solution. It's called the semantic recruiter.
The semantic recruiter. That sounds less like a study buddy and more like something out of a sci-fi thriller.
It does have a certain ring to it, doesn't it? But the concept is actually pretty straightforward. Remember how you were picturing an AI that could create your ideal research project? Well, this system uses similar technology to assemble your dream team.
Wait, hold up. You're saying this AI can analyze my skills interests, maybe even my work style, and find other students who are a perfect match?
Exactly. The paper dives into this idea of multi-layer complex networks, which sounds complicated, but it's basically about mapping the entire academic landscape, students, professors, even departments, and understanding how their knowledge, interests, and skills all connect.
So instead of being randomly assigned to a group and hoping for the best, you're matched with classmates who are just as passionate about, say, the history of ancient Sumerian tax codes as you are.
You got it. It's about fostering truly effective collaborations and making sure everyone is engaged and challenged in a way that plays to their strength.
I can already see the potential for less procrastination, fewer arguments, maybe even, dare I dream it, actual enjoyment of the collaborative process?
And it gets even better, because even with the perfect team, let's face it, there's always the potential for things to go sideways. Someone drops the ball, someone tries to take all the credit.
Ugh, tell me about it. I once had a group project where one person literally disappeared until the day before the deadline, then tried to pass off some half-baked ideas as their contribution. It wasn't pretty.
Exactly. And that's where the authors introduce another fascinating element, blockchain.
Wait, blockchain? Like cryptocurrency blockchain. How does that factor into all of this?
That's what's so brilliant about this paper. They propose using blockchain and something called smart contracts to track everyone's contributions and ensure everyone gets the credit they deserve.
Okay, I need you to break that down for me.
Yeah.
How does blockchain, something I usually associate with Bitcoin, magically transform group projects from a recipe for disaster into a haven of fairness and accountability?
Imagine a digital ledger that meticulously records every single contribution made to a project. Every line of code, every idea brainstormed, every draft edited, all logged on this immutable time-stamped record.
Okay, so no more disappearing act for the slackers, because everything's out in the open on this blockchain record.
Precisely. And because we're talking about blockchain here, we're talking tamper-proof and transparent. Everyone involved has access to the same information, so there's no room for dispute over who contributed what.
That in itself is pretty amazing when you think about how much time and energy gets wasted on those arguments.
Oh.
But it gets even better, right? Tell me about these smart contracts you mentioned.
All right, imagine this. You've just submitted your portion of the project. With smart contracts, the moment you hit that upload button, the system automatically recognizes your contribution based on the terms agreed upon beforehand. And boom, your portion of the grade is released.
Wow, so it's like a digital agreement that guarantees everyone gets credit for their work and nobody can go back and change it later. Talk about accountability.
Exactly. And this system doesn't just benefit the overachievers in the group either. Knowing your contributions are being tracked fairly can actually be really motivating for everyone involved.
It's like knowing your efforts are actually seen and valued, not just getting lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
I can definitely see how that could transform the whole group dynamic. But this paper, it just keeps getting better. They didn't stop at blockchain accountability. There's more, isn't there? What about this blockchain-based currency I read about?
You're right, there's more. This is where they introduce the idea of social tokens in education. Think of it like a frequent flyer program, but for learning.
Okay, now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
So I'm racking up these tokens for acing assignments, collaborating effectively, maybe even helping classmates who are struggling.
Yeah.
But what can I actually spend these tokens on?
Well, the paper suggests these tokens could be used for things like priority course registration, no more scrambling to get into those popular electives, or maybe they could provide access to exclusive workshops, research labs, networking events, things that enrich the educational experience beyond the traditional classroom.
So it's not just about grades anymore. It's about creating a whole ecosystem of rewards and opportunities that incentivize active participation and genuine love for learning.
Exactly, and that's what's so exciting about this concept. By recognizing and valuing a wider range of contributions, not just test scores, this system could fundamentally change how we think about success in education.
I'm already imagining the possibilities. A student-run marketplace where you can trade tokens for tutoring sessions, research opportunities, maybe even early access to guest lectures by renowned professors.
There you go, you're catching the vision. And this kind of system could be particularly transformative for students who might not thrive in a traditional academic setting. Imagine a student who's incredibly talented in, say, music or art, but struggles with math. They could earn tokens for sharing their musical talents with the campus community, then use those tokens to access extra support in their math class.
Now, that is what I call a win-win. Every student gets to shine in their own way, and everyone benefits from the collective pool of knowledge and talent. It's like this incredible feedback loop of learning, contribution, and reward.
Precisely. And while this might sound like something out of a futuristic utopia, the building blocks, the AI, the blockchain technology, it's all here right now. It's a matter of putting the pieces together and daring to reimagine what education could be.
I'm totally on board with this vision.
Yeah.
But let's get real for a moment. How realistic is it to think that a system like this could actually be implemented on a large scale? I mean, we're talking about potentially overhauling the entire educational system as we know it.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And you're right, there are definitely challenges to consider.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface of this whole thing. I mean, this paper focuses on higher education, but this vision, this could revolutionize learning at all levels, couldn't it?
Absolutely. Think about it. What if we started fostering this love of learning and contribution from a young age?
Okay, hold on. My mind is already spinning with possibilities. Are we talking about first graders launching their own crypto startups using blockchain-backed lunch money?
Maybe not quite yet, but you're getting at something really important. Imagine a world where kids are learning through these immersive, personalized projects.
Instead of memorizing multiplication tables, they're designing their own video games that teach those same math concepts.
Exactly. And instead of just getting a gold star for completing a worksheet, they're earning tokens for collaborating on a project to build a virtual garden, tracking their contributions on a blockchain, and then using those tokens to unlock new challenges or resources.
Whoa. See, now you're talking. Forget gold stars. Blockchain is the new kindergarten currency. But seriously, this could be huge, not just for kids, but for lifelong learning in general. I mean, imagine a world where you're not stuck with the career path you chose in your 20s because it's too daunting to switch gears.
Precisely. This system could empower people to constantly upskill, reskill, explore new passions, all with the support of personalized learning paths, a transparent system for demonstrating your skills, and a way to actually get recognized and rewarded for your contributions.
It's like that saying, what you learn in school is just the tip of the iceberg. This takes that idea to a whole new level. It's not just about what you learn, but how you learn, how you contribute, how you keep growing throughout your life.
And that's what makes this paper so incredibly thought-provoking. It's not just about tweaking the existing education system, it's about reimagining the very fabric of how we learn, how we share knowledge, and how we value expertise in the 21st century.
Talk about food for thought. This deep dive has been absolutely mind-blowing. It's got me really excited about the future of education. Thanks so much for breaking it all down for me.
The pleasure was all mine. Always happy to chat about the power of AI to transform the way we learn.
And to everyone listening, be sure to check out the show notes for a link to the research paper and other resources. And as always, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the future of learning. We'll see you next time.